So the title of the story is called Trying Out. So just by the title, what do you think it's about?
He's like gonna try out for like something that he never did yet, or
Okay. Yeah.
maybe he did it before, but he just wants to do it again and make decent.
Anybody else? You got anything? What do you?
He's gonna try out for a sport.
Sport?
Yeah, that's what I was
Sport?
thinking.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So trying out. Jessie was enjoying a chocolate and vanilla ice cream cone when she spotted Emma sitting by herself on a rusty set of bleachers. Her friend was dressed to play, with bright white pants and neon blue cleats that looked brand new. In front of her was one of 3 softball fields at the park. A man and a woman with clipboards corralled a group of other girls into the dugouts on either side and began calling out names. Jessie watched. Emma Beach, the man called out. He looked around. None of the other girls answered him. Jessie hopped up beside her and said, "I think they just called your name." Emma shrugged and said, "Yeah." "You're here to try out, right?" Emma rested her chin between her knees and said, "I guess. Shouldn't you get down there?" Emma squirmed a bit, and her eyes dropped to some rusted spot on the bleachers. "I don't think I'm going to." "Why not?" Jessie said. She fought to talk and keep her ice cream from melting at the same time. Emma shrugged again. "I thought you loved softball." "I do, it's just what?" Emma looked away. "I'm not good enough." Jessie's face scrunched up. "Not good enough to try out? I don't think that's how tryouts work." "I could try out." Jessie took a big bite of ice cream, and her words came out muffled and dribbling chocolate and vanilla. "I wouldn't make the team because I'm terrible, but I could try out." Emma cracked a smile. "But you're good. You're good." Jessie wiped off her face and said, "You could totally make the team." There was a hint of light in Emma's eyes, but it dimmed and her shoulders slumped. "I don't think so." So what was her body language like there, Emma's?
She was kind of maybe scared or something.
Yeah.
Scared?
Nervous.
She was nervous that she might not be able to make the team.
Worried.
Yeah, worried
Worried?
that she
Nervous?
might
I
not
like
be able
that,
to.
yeah. It's good. Alright. Because I just can't do it. "Says who?" Jessie said. Emma squirmed again, and Jessie said, "Who says you can't do it?" "I struck out 3 times in a row in gym class last week, and everybody laughed at me and said I was terrible." "Ouch," Jessie said. "Sounds like you just had one terrible game. Do you always strike out all the time?" "No. So you're not terrible, you just struck out a few times." One of the girls trying out sized up a pitch and swung, but missed. Strike 3. She shook her head and dragged her back to the dugout. "See," Jessie said, "she just struck out, and no one's laughing at her. You play softball, you strike out sometimes. That's life." Jessie made it down to the cone, and her next bite crunched. "Well, softball life anyway. I guess," Emma said. "I bet you could go down there right now and knock one out of the park. Those fields don't have back fences." "Into the weeds then," Jessie said. "I bet you could do it." Light flickered in Emma's eyes. "Maybe." "You can totally do it," Jessie said. She hopped to her feet and said, "Let's go." Emma remained seated. "I can't. They've already started." "Who cares?" Jessie reached down and grabbed her friend by the arm. "Come on, let's go." Emma stood up slowly, like a sloth who didn't want to leave a branch. Jessie pulled her off the bleachers and down to the gap in the fence that led to the dugout. The man with the clipboard was watching the next batter. "Excuse me," Jessie said. The man turned around. "Yes?" "My friend is here to try out." "All right, what's your name?" Jessie jabbed Emma in the ribs. "Emma Beach," she said. The man scanned the clipboard and nodded. "Great, looks like you're all set. Hop in line at the end of the bench and we'll see what you can do." "Told you," Jessie whispered in Emma's ear. Emma took a seat at the end of a long string of nervous-looking girls. Jessie went back to the bleachers and finished her ice cream cone. One by one, the girls stepped up to the plate. Some of them hit and some struck out, but no one laughed at them. Finally, it was Emma's turn, and Jessie cheered and clapped. She was the only voice on the rusted bleachers. "You can do it, Emma. Knock that ball into the weeds." Emma stepped up to the plate. The softball came flying in, and Emma swung with all her might. The bat struck the ball square and launched it into the air. It didn't make it into the weeds, but it did make it to the outfield, and Emma made it to first base. Jessie smiled and said, "Not so terrible after all." So what happened?
At gym, they were playing a game of softball, but she struck out all times, but everyone strikes out every single game. So, and then she hit the ball, and then she made it into outfield.
You think she made the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Phil?
I think like she struck out in gym whenever she played, and she thought she wasn't going to be good enough at baseball
Softball,
because she struck out 3 times in the gym and everybody laughed at her. But when her friends struck out, nobody laughed at her. So, no one laughed at her in baseball. And Jessie tried, I think it was Jessie,
Emma.
right?
Emma was the one that tried out. Jessie was their friend. Yeah.
Yeah, Jessie struck out, and then Emma tried. She didn't hit it into the weeds, but she hit it out in the
Outfield.
outfield. And I think
Yeah.
she might have made the team.
So I can give you a second to think too, but what do you think the theme of the story is? You know what the theme means, or that's what you can go. You can start.
Don't quit or give up.
Don't quit, never give up. Okay. What in the story tells you that? Just one thing from the story that.
She wanted to not go out and quit doing that and stuff, but then she tried and then she probably made the team.
Okay. I'll just go through. But what do you think the theme is?
Kind of what he said.
Not give up.
Yeah, not
Is there
give up.
is there something else that was in the story that tells you that?
She kind of wanted to give up. Actually, everything he said.
Is there a different thing in the story though that could support that? Something else that happened?
Well, she kind of.
If there's not, that's okay.
She kind of gave up at the gym one, but she technically didn't give up. She went to the softball field and tried there. So.
Okay. Good. Is there a different theme maybe?
Always to try, always try instead of give up. Because after she got laughed at, she didn't want to try again or anything.
Okay.
So she didn't want to share or didn't want to try out for baseball or softball because she didn't think she was gonna be good enough.
Okay. So yeah, that's good. That's a different one from the other group, but it's a good theme. What about encouragement? What about the theme of encouragement? What in the story is has to do with encouragement? Can you think back to?
Jessie was encouraging her that if you strike out, it doesn't matter if everybody strikes out.
Awesome.
Yeah. He said I'm so add on just keep trying until you hit the ball.
Yeah. So and that's what Jessie told her.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything else?
Same thing as us.
Yeah. Let's see, because this says theme of the story is about encouragement. Jessie encouraged Emma in several different ways. First, she let her know that it was okay to have bad days, that having one bad day didn't mean that all her days were going to be bad. She was positive about Emma's softball abilities and told her she was a good player, and she also motivated her to try out and take risks. So I think that's pretty good. That was pretty good.